Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm Bilal Mahmoud, and this video is made for grade 10 at Middle East International School. This is a quick recap to the topics that we studied so far on Python. Okay, first of all, I suppose that you already installed Python on your computers. If you didn't do so, just go to python.org/downloads, and from downloads here you can just click on the download Python for Windows and you can download the installer. Once you get the installer, just run it and follow the instructions and you will have it. To run it, I'm not gonna install it now because it is already installed on my system. If you wanna run it, just go to the start menu and write IDLE. IDLE stands for Integrated Development and Learning Environment, and open it. What will open with you is the Python shell. We have two main windows on the basic Python IDLE. We have the Python shell or shell window and code window. Okay, so what is Python? All of you know that Python is a programming language. We call it interpreted programming language. Here the Python shell, if you have simple code or you want to test a line of code, you can use it. If you want to make, for example, a calculation, you can use it as a calculator as well. If you want to declare a variable, you can do so. If you want to print, let's say, this variable and use it in something, it will print the value. Anyway, so this is the Python shell. If you want to write code or mature programs, we use the code window here. Okay, so the first thing we've learned in Python, or we usually learn, is how to get output. As you know, computer programs have or follow this form. We have input. The computer will take input from input devices. It will do processing. It will process this input and it will produce the output on screen or on printer or in a file or whatever. Okay, so this is how computer works. So the first basic thing we need to know is how to get output, how to print a message. It's very simple in Python. Just we have a function called print, and this function, if you see here in this basic IDLE, it is in purple. If you see something in purple, you need to know it is a built-in function. Okay, so here using print, I can print, for example, I want to print hello world. Okay, usually we begin with hello world or any welcome message, for example. Here, by the way, if you notice, I put these single quotations. These single quotation denotes that what is written here is a string. String is a series of characters, or simply we can say text. Okay, text is enclosed in Python by using or by single quotation, either single quotation or double quotation. Okay, so if you use double quotation, it has no problem. How to run this simple program? Just you go to run and you choose here run module, or simply you can press F5. We have to save the file first before running it. I can call it, for example, Python demo or my first program or welcome, whatever. I will call it demo. Okay, and I'll save it. You can choose the path where you want to save it. Okay, and it will run on the shell. So far you know how to get output. We will learn about how to get input, okay, and other stuff just after this. Okay, the first thing I'm gonna talk about is the operators. Operators, what do we mean with operators? Here in programming languages on Python, we have different operators. I have more than one type of operators. I just stick to our syllabus. Okay, I'm not gonna explain any further details outside the syllabus. I will talk about the arithmetic operators. Okay, arithmetic operators, if I write here, I'll just write them as a comment. Okay, here, arithmetic operators, arithmetic from math operators like addition, subtraction, division, and multiplication, as well as we have integer division. We have also the exponent or power, okay, and we have the modulus, okay, the mod or modulus or the remainder. The other type of operators we have relational, and these relational operators result in either true or false. So we have greater than, just we use them for comparison, less than, greater than or equal, greater than or equal, less than or equal, and we have equal, we write double of equal sign, means equal, and we have not equal, exclamation mark with equal sign, we call it not equal. Okay, the third type of operators we have here, we have the logical operators. Logical operators, we have and, or, not. Okay, these three operators, and we use them to make a compound relational operators or logical expressions, to combine logical expressions. We will explain that in its time when we talk about the selection or decision or the if statement simply. Okay, so we have and, or, and not. Okay, and we have the assignment operators. Assignment operators, we have one assignment operator, which is this one. The other ones we call them augmented assignment operators, and they will be explained later during the this video. Okay, we have augmented like plus equal, minus equal. Actually, all these arithmetic, when we use equal with them, this equal, this is assign. Actually, single equal means assign, to give. Okay, now let's talk about the arithmetic operators. Arithmetic operators, all of you know what is arithmetic operator, how to do addition, subtraction, division, multiplication, as well as the precedence of them or the priority of them. You know that if we have also, we can include parentheses in arithmetic expressions, so they will give higher precedence. So if we want to arrange the precedence of arithmetic operators, the highest precedence here is to the given to the power, then the multiplication, division, and integer division, and a modulo or modulus have the same level of precedence. Then the lowest precedence is given to addition and subtraction. And if we have two operators that have the same precedence, we evaluate it from left to right. For example, I'll just give a simple example. If I say 4 plus 5 times 3 plus 2 to the power of 2, let's say, to the power of 2. Usually we make spaces so it will be more readable. So what will be evaluated, or what will be the result of this one? The first one, we need to evaluate the power. So we will have 2 to the power of 2, it will be 4. Okay, then we will do this. 5 times 3, it will be 15. So we'll have 4 plus 15 plus 4. So it will be 23. It should be 23. Okay, if we use, for example, if I write it here the same, but I change something, if I put parentheses here, then I give the highest precedence to the parentheses. So we need to evaluate this first. 2 plus 3, it will be 5 to the power of 2, it will be 25. Then it will be multiplied by 5, 125, plus 4, it will be 129. Okay, and so on. I suppose this is very simple. Okay, you might wonder about what is the meaning of integer division and modulus. Integer division is, for example, if I want to divide 9 by 4, let's say, okay, 9 by 4, it should be how much? 2 point something, right? But here it will give me 2.25, right? Here, this is the normal division, but if we use integer division, it will get just the integer part, which is 2, okay? So if I say 9 integer division by 4, it will give us 2 only, okay? So it will not give us the decimal point and what comes after it. Here on the modulus is the remainder. If I divide something, let's say if I divide 11 by mod 3, okay, 11 mod 3 is what remains. If we perform integer division on that, 3 times 3, it will be 9. Then we still have 2. 2 doesn't go on 3. So this is the remainder, which is 2. Okay, so I hope this is clear and well understood by you. Regarding relational operators are used for comparing values or even expressions. So if I say, for example, here we can make it as a question: is 5 greater than 3? This should result in either true or false. In this case, it is true. If I suppose that we have variable here, x equals 5 and y equals 7 and z equals 3, let's say, I can use this operator. For example, if I can say is x plus z less than y, okay, so y is 7, x plus z, here we have arithmetic expression, okay, and we have a relational expression. So this will be evaluated first. The value of x is 5, z 3, it will be 8. Is 8 less than? So the arithmetic will be evaluated before the comparison takes place. So is 8 less than 7? No. So it will give us false. Okay, and you can generalize this point on all the other operators. Okay, so what about and, or, and not? Here, if I want to combine, two expressions, and this will make a like compound statement. For example, if I say if x greater than y, okay, x here in this case is not greater than y, or okay, z is less than y. Okay, so what will this result in? So here we need to evaluate each expression okay, first, then we can combine the result. So x greater than y, this will result in 5 is not greater than 7, so this will give us false. And this one, z is less than y, yes it is. So we say false or true, this will result in conclusion as true. So one of the expressions is true, so it will give us true. How to know true, false, based on and, or, and not? We have truth table. If I use and here, if I use the same expression but I use and, in and both expressions must be true to get it true, otherwise I will get false. So if the first one is true, false, and the second one is true, I will get false. Here we can make it as a table. We call it truth table. So and, or, we can use them between two expressions. So this is expression 1, this expression 2, and here the and operator. In case of and operator, we have 4 possibilities. The first one to be true, the second one be true, so the result will be true. And the second option, the first one will be false, the second will be true, so we'll get false. The third possibility, the second one will be true, the third one will be false, we will get false. Or both, if both are false, of course we will get false. This is in case of we use and. Okay, if we use or, okay, if one of the two expressions is true, we will get true. We will get false only if both expressions are false or evaluate to false. So true or true, we will get true. True or false or true, we will get true. True or false, we will get true. False or false, we will get false. Okay. Regarding not is unary operator. If we say not true, it will be false. It is a negation. Okay, not false will give us true. Okay, simply I can write it here. For example, if I say not x greater than y, x greater than y, x5 not greater than y. So 5, this will evaluate to false. Not false and will be true. Okay, I hope this is clear. Okay, here we have etc. Now regarding the assignment operators, assign means to give. When I have, for example, a value now, when I made x and I put equal here, okay, 5, that means to store 5 in x. Here x is a variable. I will talk about variables here. What is a variable? Variable is a memory location that we can assign value to. Okay, so I made x. When I say x equals 5, this will reserve or occupy a place in the memory. It will call it x, and if I use the assignment statement and put 5, that means to store 5 inside x, so it will contain 5. Some students might be confused with this one, x assigned to 5 or 5 assigned to x, or x equals to 5. This is not assignment. This is a logical expression. So that means, or relational expression, that means is x equals to 5 true or false? It depends. So in our case it will be true. Okay, so it's like a question. You can make it as a question. Is it 5 or not? So don't get confused with the assignment statement and the equity or equality. Okay, I hope this is clear so far. Now we have the augmented assignment. Sometimes we use we need to add value. For example, x equals to 5. I want to add 2 to x. Usually we can say x equals x plus 2. That means read the value from x, which is 5, add 2 to it, 5 plus 2, it will be 7. Then assign the new value, which is 7, to x. So x will be 7. Now if I print x, it will be 7 here, as you see. Okay, so I have a shorthand form to do this, which is the augmented assignment. Instead of writing x assignment x plus 2, I can just write x plus equal 2. So this one here, this statement is similar to this one, and this applies to minus equal, multiplies equal, divide by equal, etc. Okay, on all of these arithmetic expressions. Okay, so here now if I print x, x will be 9. Okay, so this is the augmented assignment. Okay, now you have an idea about variables and operators. We will talk more about variables actually and their data types. In Python we have 4 different data types. We have integer, int for short, float. Okay, integer is for whole numbers, or for integers, simply numbers without decimal point. We call them integers. Okay, and we have float numbers. Float numbers means real numbers, numbers with decimal point. Like for example, if I write 3.5, this is float, for example. Okay, if I write 3, this is int or integer. We have string. Okay, string is a sequence of characters. This is another data type, for example, and usually it is enclosed within single quotation or a double quotation. Okay, so let's say hello. This is a string actually, and we have boolean or for short bool. okay, it results in either true or false. Okay, so for example, I will give example on that. Just let me run the Python shell to clean it. Okay, so here we have in Python shell. Let me erase this. Okay, now for example, if I say a equals to 3, b equals to 3.45, c equals to, okay, anything 3, okay, between quotation, and d equals to true. Okay, we have true, false. Here are keywords in Python. Okay, so if I want to know what is the type of a, just we have a function, we call it type, and if I put a, it will write the type of it. So the type of a is integer, type of b here, sorry, type of b, it will be float, as you see here. Okay, type of c, I'll just copy it. Okay, string, and type of d is Boolean. Okay, so these are the 4 basic types we have in Python. And Python, by the way, is how to say, we call it a dynamically typed programming language, that we can, if I made a as integer, but I can convert it. If I assign a value of other type, it will take it without any problem, because it is based on an interpreter. Okay, now regarding variables, we have naming rules for variables. When we make variable names, we have naming rules. I will just write it here inside a string. Naming rules of variables are as follows. If you want to create variable, you can choose the name as you want, but we have some points we need to keep in mind. The first of all, variable names contain only, it only contains alphabets. Alphabets means from letters from A to Z, or from A to Z. Okay, I write in capital letter and small letter because Python is a case sensitive. Okay, that means A capital and A small are 2 different things. Okay, alphabets, numbers, okay, and underscore. Okay, so these are the things that we can use for variable names in Python. We cannot use anything else. We can use the $sign as well. Okay, any other thing, it will give us error. For example, if I want to write a variable, I will call it x hash, let's say. Okay, x hash equals to 3. This will give me an error. Okay, so if I use x like operator here, any operator, okay, equals to 2, okay, this will give us an error. So if I use x underscore, has no problem. Okay, we have no problem. So you need to keep in mind, if you face a question like multiple choice question with a variable names that contains something other than these things, alphabets, numbers, $sign, and underscore, you will face an error. Okay, so if I x $sign equals to 2, okay, $sign, sorry, $sign is valid in Java. I'm sorry, $sign is invalid to be used in Python. I'm sorry for that point. Okay, anyway, so what is allowed is to use underscore, numbers from 0 to 9. Okay, you can use any number, and underscore. Okay, the first thing, variable names should not begin with numbers. Okay, okay, it should begin with either an alphabet or underscore. So if I say, for example, x1 equals to 3, x1 has no problem. If I say 1x, this is incorrect variable name. Okay, so you need to keep that in mind. Moreover, variable name should not have spaces. Okay, should not have spaces. For example, if I want to make a variable called number of students, I cannot make it like this, number of students. This will produce an error. Okay, if I want to do so, we need to separate these using underscore. So it will be like one word, okay? And we need to spread them using underscore. Usually we make that using Python, we call it snake case. If we have more than one word, we spread them by underscores. And it is very important to use meaningful names for variables. Don't use x, y, z. We use it in examples just to show some cases, but when you do real programming, it's not a good practice to follow this way. You need to give meaningful names. The fourth rule should not be a keyword. The variable or identifier, the variable should not be a reserved word or keyword. Should not be a keyword. What do I mean here with keyword? We have some words in Python, there are 30 something words that are used as keywords. They have specific purpose, like for example the word true, or the word, for example, for or if. Okay, any word here, if you see colored with orange, we call it keyword. So we cannot make variable. For example, I cannot say if equals to 3. This is a keyword. We cannot do that. So you need to keep these things in your mind when you create variables. Okay, now I will give a simple example. Okay, on how very simple program, how to get the addition of two numbers. And first thing, the two numbers, I will just they will be already given, okay, or assigned to the values. After that, I will introduce the input function that will take the value from the keyboard. Okay, so the first one, I need to declare how to solve a problem. For example, if you face any program or any problem that write a program that finds the sum of two numbers. Okay, so we need to determine what are the inputs and what is the output to get from the program. Okay, so the inputs here is two numbers and the output will be the sum. Okay, so I need three variables in this case. The first two variables are for input, and the third variable will be for the output. So I will call it, for example, number one. By the way, this comment, we mean with comment, this is neglected by or ignored by the interpreter. It doesn't mean anything to the program or to the computer, but it means something to the programmer or the reader of your code. Okay, if you want to explain some lines of code, it's a good practice to use comments. Okay, I use them here just to write something to explain. Anyway, so number one, I will give it a value here, arbitrary value. Actually, I will give it 7. Let's say number two equals to, let's say, 12. Okay, so here we have number one and number two already. The second step, I need to add them on a third variable. So let's say I call it result. Okay, result equals num1 or number one plus number two. Okay, if you notice here, by the way, creating variables in Python is very simple way. If you have any idea about other programming languages, we have specific keywords to declare variables. Here just you can write the variable name, assign value to it, and it is created. Okay, now how to print the result? I just can say print and result. This will print the result. I press F5 to run the program. Okay, and here we got the result. If I want to decorate my result here, I can say, actually we will talk later about print formatting. Okay, so I can just write here result equals, and I use comma, okay, as a separator. It will make space after this, and it will write, this will be printed as it is here, results equals, and the value of results, which is 19 in this case. So let's run the program again, and we have it. So result equals 19. Okay, now we want the user to enter the values. Okay, we don't want the values to be like this. So what should we do? We have a function called input to get the input from the user. Okay, so what should I write? I will write input. Okay, and input will get the value from the user. The cursor will wait for the user to enter the value, and the value will be stored in the variable number 1. Okay, same thing here, input. Okay, but here I will explain 2 points. The first point, if I run the program here, you see here, if we go here, the cursor is waiting actually. Okay, but here we have no message, so we can give prompt to user, so the user will know what to do. Okay, so I will give a prompt to user here. I will give him a message, enter number 1, let's say, and put colon here. Okay, same thing here, enter number 2 and colon here. Okay, so we will have it. I have another point, but I will explain after we run the program. Okay, here we now have enter number 1. Okay, so the user knows what to do. Okay, this is the first number, enter number 2. Okay, now what will be the result? What's your expectation about the result? It will be 1, 2, 3, 4. It won't be 46 as expected. And why? Why? Because the input function will take the value as string. Okay, so if I make, for example, here x equals input, and let's give enter x. Okay, and if we use input now, enter x, I enter 2. Okay, if I write type of x, it will be print string. Why? Input takes it as string. Okay, so what should I do in order to convert it to integer or to numeric value? Okay, whether float or integer, to evaluate it, I need to do something called casting. Casting means is to convert from a data type to another data type. So how to convert string to integer or float? Okay, we have 2 functions for that. We have a function called int. Int will take string and convert it to float. If you see here, int x. If I print a type of x now, type of x is still integer. If I say x equals int of x, okay, now if I print the value of x, the type of x, it was string, but now it is integer, as you see here. Same thing if I use float. If I wrote float x, of course x and float and integer will not convert the values unless they are numerical in their nature. Okay, if I give them a value that has string or text, it will throw an error. Anyway, and this is out of our scope. Okay, we might expand that later. Okay, and this will convert it to float. Anyway, I need to put x equals float of x. Now, what is the point here? If I want to convert it, I can do. I have 2 ways to do that. I can either write number 1 equals int of number 1. So I took it as a string, then I have converted it, okay, and we can do the same for number 2, okay. So this will take them as strings, then it will convert them. Now if I run it again and enter 12 plus 34, it will be 46, and this is our expectation. Here I have added 2 extra lines. I can just eliminate this. Just I can use the int here. I can enclose the input function within the int, so I can convert to int directly, okay. So we can directly take it and store it as integer inside number 1, okay. So I can use int. If you want it to be to use real numbers or decimal numbers, you can use the function float, okay. So this is the point here. This will give us the same result as this one, okay. So now we've talked about the input and type casting, okay. Now we have many examples of this. We can follow many examples on that. Let's say a program, let's say to find the area of a circle, okay. Area of a circle, we need what is the input that finds the area of a circle, and we need to let the user to enter the radius. So what will be the input to our program? The input will be, we need to know what the radius in order to get the area, okay. So we can make a variable. We can call it radius, okay, and we use, let's say, float, and we will let the user enter the value of radius. Input enter the radius, okay. And now when we have this input, how to find the area? Just directly we can apply the formula, which is radius to the power of 2 times the value of pi, okay. Here we can use, for simplicity, just I can say area, what's this, area, sorry, equals radius. I can say radius times radius, or radius to the power of 2, okay, times the value of pi, which is 3.1415. Also I can use the math module. I can say import math, okay. This is beyond our scope so far. We didn't take this yet, but this for your knowledge, okay. And I here can use math.py. It will give us more accurate math.py. So it will bring the pi value from math module and find it. Then we can print just area equals, okay, and here just remove it, and the value of area, okay. So if I run the program now, here it asks me to enter the radius. I will put it 3, okay, and we have the result, okay. So this is very simple. I'm not gonna give you more examples on that. We call this sequential program. And now the other kind of programs, or another type of programs, we have 3 types of programs. We have sequential, we have selectional, okay, and we have repetitional, okay. What do we mean with sequential? All the steps are straightforward, 1, 2, 3. If we have selection, there will be like kind of decision or kind of condition, okay. If it is satisfied, some statements will be performed. If it's false, other statements will be performed. So here I'm gonna introduce to you the if statement, okay. And what is if statement? Let me show you an example on that. For example, simple example, a program that reads the let's say mark of a student, and prints whether whether he is pass or fail. He is pass or fail. So what will be the input to our program? In this case, the input is the mark. Okay, and it will print pass if the mark, or when the mark is greater than or equal to 50. Otherwise, it will print fail. So I will just make a variable for mark. I will call it mark, and I will let the user enter it, and we need it in integer. Okay, to be integer. Okay, int input, and we give a prompt to the user, enter, let's say, your mark. Okay, and here we can say if now mark. Okay, here this is the syntax of if statement. We use logical expression here, mark greater than 50, so, and we put colon. Okay, now if mark greater than 50, so we have the keyword if, then we have condition here, and we have colon. Then I press enter, and notice here when I pressed enter, the cursor became here inside the indent. This defines a block. What's meant by block is some statements that have that follow some structure. So what will be inside this indent will follow this condition. Okay, in our case we have only one statement, just print you failed, you, or simply I can write fail, you failed. Okay, here, okay, this is the if greater than 50, you passed. Okay, otherwise I can use another if to check. I write if mark is less than 50, less than okay, here greater than or equal to 50 actually. Okay, you passed. I can say if mark is less than 50, you failed, or simply I can say else, because if the mark is not greater than or equal to 50, it will be less than. So no need to check the condition again, so simply we write else. So print you failed. Okay, so this is how it works. Here we don't have a predetermined sequence of the program. The sequence of the program depends on the user input. If he entered, let's say 75, it will go here. It will print you passed, and it will ignore the rest of the if structure. Otherwise, if this condition is false, let's say he entered 45, then this one will be ignored. Directly it will go to the else, and it will perform the statements inside the else statement. Okay, here just okay, now if I run the program, okay, enter your mark, let's say 45. Okay, so 45 is mark greater than 50 or equal to 50? No, so directly it will go here, so it will print you failed. Okay, if I run it again, sorry, enter your mark, let's say 56. Okay, you passed. So this is simple if statement, actually if else statement. Okay, sometimes we have single if statement, not without else. In some case, for example, I will give you an example. If you have a company and you have employees, and you want to give raise to employees whose salary is less than 5,000, let's say. Okay, so I want to give a raise to employees with salary less than 5,000 of raise of let's say 10%. How to do that? I can make a variable, for example salary, and I need to let the user input his salary, and let's say input, enter your salary. Okay, and here I want to check if the salary is less than 5,000, then increment it by 10%. Okay, So I can use if salary is less than, let's say 5,000, let's say, and colon here. Okay, just I can say salary times equal here means salary equals salary times 1.1. 1.1, when I multiply it by 1.1, it's like as I added 10% to it. Okay, then print salary. Print your salary. Salary is, okay, and here we can say salary. So in this case, if we run the program here, enter your salary. If it is greater than, this is 5,000, is not less than 5,000, it will remain 5,000 as it is. Why? Because the condition is not satisfied here. It gives us false, so directly it printed the salary, and the salary remains as it is. If I run the program again and I enter the salary, let's say 4,000, it will be multiplied by 1.1. It will read 4,000 times 1.1. It will be 4,400. Okay, so that's it. So this is regarding the if statement. We have another form of if statement. We can say call it multiple conditional statement or nested if statement, okay, or simply if, elif, else. We have a very famous simple example. If we ask the user to enter a number, okay, and to write whether this number is positive, negative, or 0. Here we have 3 choices, okay, so the number will be either positive, negative, or 0. So how to form this problem? Okay, so we can just enter the number. We can say if the number is greater than 0, then it is positive. Okay, otherwise we still have 2 choices. It might be either 0 or negative, less than 0. So we need to put another if statement inside the else statement. Okay, so we call it nested if. Let's see how to do that. So I will make a variable number, and I will let the user to enter the number. Input, enter a number. Okay, now I say if number is greater than 0, then just print positive. Okay, we still have 2 choices, so I can say else, and here we put colon. I print, what should I print here? Else. I have another condition. I can say if, that means else if this condition is false. Okay, so else we have the other 2 conditions. The number will be either 0 or less than 0. I can say if number is less than 0, then print negative. Okay, here we still have only one choice, which is else, print 0. It's neither positive nor negative, so it will be 0. Okay, which is neutral number. Okay, 0 is neither positive nor negative. We can write 0. So we can do it this way. This is called nested if statement. I'll just run it, then I will simplify the code just to show you the case. Okay, if I entered -3, it will be checked here. -3 is greater than 0? No, it will come here. Is it less than 0? Yes, true, so it will print negative. Okay, so that's what happened. If I run and enter a positive number 9, it will be positive, and it will ignore the rest of the if statement. Okay, so it will write positive directly. If I run it again and put 0, okay, so it will write 0. How to simplify my code? We have something called elif. I can make it like this. Okay, just I can delete this, and I can write elif. Elif means else if, and I can make it like this. Okay, so we have simplified our code. So we call it if, elif, else, if we have. And here that I can just write one else for the if block, okay? But elif, I have infinite number of it. If we have the more choices we have, the more elif we can put. Okay, so if I run the program, we will get the same results actually. No difference. If I put -7, it will give me negative, and so on. Okay, I hope this is example. We have match statement, by the way, introduced in Python 3.10, but this is out of our scope. We have many things that are out of our scope. That's why I didn't give more details from outside our syllabus. Okay, and why I say this, because if somebody wants to watch this short video, okay, from outside the Middle East, he need to make this or to take this into account. Okay, now we will talk about the loops or repetition. Okay, so which is the first form of the programs we have. Repetition, what if I want to perform the same statement or print the same statement many times, or perform some calculation for several number of times? What to do? Should I write the same statement 10 times or 20 times or n times? Doing so will not be sufficient. It will be infeasible actually. So what do? We have something called loops. Okay, we have two structures for loops in Python. We have for loop and while loop. Why we have these two structures? Actually, loop types, we have counter-based loops. If we are going to talk about the types of loops, we have counter-based, okay, and we have conditional loops. Conditional loops, we have sentinel controlled loops and flag-based loops. All are conditional, by the way. Conditional loops. Okay, the best fit for counter-based loop is a loop structure or loop statement. We call it for. Okay, and this is what I'll be talking about it in the coming few minutes here. Then I will introduce the while loop, and while loop works better than for loop when we have a condition. What do I mean here? I mean counter-based. If I have a decided number of iterations or a known number of iterations, for loop is the best fit for that. If we have a condition that the program doesn't know when to stop, but it will stop when the condition is met, while loop works perfectly and on this point. Okay, so what do I mean with loop or iteration? Suppose that I want to print the sum of a sequence. Let's say 1 plus 2 plus 3. Actually, in Python, the good thing here, we have the range function will help us to do that. But if we don't have it in other programming languages, for example, we don't have it, we use loops to do so. Also, it helps us. Here we have many built-in functions in Python actually that help us to have shorter code and do many things simply. But what if we don't have these? We need to think about other solution. Anyway, what if I want to print the addition of such a sequence? Okay, what should I use? I can use a for loop, or I want to give an example on that. If I want to print a statement welcome 10 times, let's say, how to print it? Should I write print welcome, then copy it and paste it 10 times? This will be insufficient. So what I do, I can use for loop. Let's say if I want to print this 10 times, I use the for loop. I can write for. Then here I need to declare something, we call it counter. Usually we use the word I for iterator, okay? And we have operator, we call it in, okay? The for loop can iterate over a range function. I will talk about the range function, okay? It can also iterate over sequence or string. Sequence, I mean list, tuple, set, and dictionary, or over a string. We will introduce that later because in our syllabus we have until lists so far. Okay, so and we use n. Here the range function, if I use range function, has three forms. The first form takes one parameter. If I print I in range 10 and we put colon, and we have inside, if I press enter here, we have indent. Okay, so I need to put the repeated code inside the indent. Okay, so it will be here. Now the range function will count from 0 to 9, which is 10 times here. It will print welcome 10 times. So let's see here. Okay, so we have welcome 10 times. Okay, so the statement will be repeated 10 times here. Now, what if I want to show you the power of range function and its uses. What if I want to print the numbers from 1 to 10? If I print here the counter I here in range function, if I put range of 10, it will bring the numbers from 0 to 9. Okay, so this will print 0 to 9. If I want to print them, by the way, on the same line, I use here end equals and empty string. This will print them beside each other like this way. Okay, also I can put for example here a comma between them. I think this will be better. Okay, this way. Okay, I will run I will run it again. Anyway, now range function will bring the numbers from 0 to 9. How to make it bring the numbers? For example, if I want it from 1 to 10. Okay, here it will bring, if it has only one argument, what is inside here we call it argument. If it has one argument, it will bring from number 0 to this number minus 1. So if I give it 10, it will bring from 0 to 9. Okay, if I want to print from 1 to 10, I need to put here the start point 1 and I need to put 11. So it will stop at 10. So this will print from numbers from 1 to 10, as you will see here. So numbers from to 10. If I want to print, for example, from number 5 to 10, so it will print like this. I need to change just the first parameter. It will print the numbers from 5 to 10. What if I want to print a sequence like this? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay, I need to start from 2 and stop before 10, after 10 in 1, which is 11. And here we can add third parameter. We call it step. We call it 2. So this at the first time it will be print 2, then it will add 2 to this 2, so it will be 4. Then it will be 6, and so on. Okay, so this will print 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. If I want to print the odd numbers, I can start from 1. So this will print 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, as you will see here. Okay, if I want to print numbers in reverse, I can just put here, I need to put the starting point, for example, from 10 to 1 in reverse. Okay, I will put 10. I will not put 1 here, because if I put 1, it will bring 2. Okay, so I will put 0, and here the step I'll make it -1. Okay, so it will print 10, 9, 8, 7, and so on until it reaches 1. Okay, so this is how it works. If I want to print, for example, from 100 to 1 or to 5, let's say. Okay, and -5, so this will print, or -10, let's say, it will print 100, 19, 90, 80, and so on. Okay, so this way. So now you have insight into the for loop, okay, and how to use it. What if I ask you to write a program that finds the sum of numbers from 1 to 10? Okay, what can I do? In Python, I can use the easy way and the hard way. Okay, now let's do it in the hard way. Okay, if I want to do it the hard way, if I want to find the summation of the sequence 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus until 10. Okay, let's say. So we need to make a variable. I can call it total, and I need to assign a value 0 to it. Then I will use for loop for I in range from 1 to 10. Okay, 10 plus 1, 11. From 1 to 11. Okay, and I can say just add the value of I each time to total. So I can say total plus equal to I. Okay, then I will print total. Okay, so this is simply how it works. This is the difficult way, okay, or the hard way. But I need to trace it just to show you how this works. Okay, how this works. So we began from total. It is 0 at the beginning, and we have the counter I. At the beginning it will be 1, and it will stop at before 11, which is 10. Okay, now I equals to 1. Now total plus equals to I. Total is 0 and I is 1. 1 plus 0, it will be 1, and stored in total, so total will be 1. Then the range, the I will be incremented, will become 2. 2. Then it will perform here. Total plus equal to I. 1 plus 2. 3, it will be stored in total. Then I will be 3. Then it will be added to the total. 3 plus 3, it will be 6. Then the counter will be 4. Then it will be added to total. 6 plus 4, it will be 10. Then like kind of accumulating actually. So now 5. 5 plus 10, 15. Until we get 55. Let's do it, and I will show you how to do that. So I'll say total equals 0, okay, or have the value of 0. I remain say equals because this is equal sign, but it is actually assignment here in programming, but we used to call it equals. Anyway, here I can say for I in range 1 to 11, okay, I can say total plus equals to I, okay, and I'll print here, I'll just simply print total. Okay, I'm not giving any message here. Okay, and when I run it, this will print 55. Okay, but how did it go? I'll just show you. This will print each step, so it will sum and step. It will sum and step. Okay, and see here the steps we have. Okay, so the first step here, it added 0 to 1. It will be 1, then 3, then 6, then 15. You can see here, you can look here and here, okay, and so on, until we got 55. Okay, this is the difficult way. The simple way in Python, Python is very helpful in this. We have a built-in function called sum. I can say just sum range, okay, of 1 to 11. That's it. It's very simple. I just need to print it. How to print it? Just say print. Okay, so that's it. Instead of writing 4 lines of code, I just wrote only one here, and this is a very nice thing. So print sum 1 2 3 1 2. I need this here. Just that's it. Okay, so it's here. Python is wonderful in this way. So this is regarding for loop, working with range function. Okay, we can use for loop to work with sequences like list. How to declare list? Just let me talk about list. Or first on string. For example, let's say name equals, let's say Bilal. Okay, and if I want to print it letter by letter or do something to it, for example, I can just for I in name. Okay, just I will print it. Just I'm showing you like a demo. Print I. This will print the letter by 1. Okay, I can manipulate them in this way or use them for other purpose. Okay, I can use for loop using list. Okay, and what is a list? List is a kind of sequence. It allows repetition. Okay, it is indexed sequence or group of values. It can have any type. Also, it can be with many types. So I can make a list that have items of different types actually. So just I will make a list, let's say numbers list. Okay, I can say list 1. I will call it list 1. And how to denote it is a list. I can just use square brackets. Okay, I can give it arbitrary numbers actually. 6, 7, 3, 4. So we have elements. We have 4 elements here. Because we talked about list, I just explained some points about list. If I want to add items to list, I use append function. I can say list1 dot append. If I want to insert a value to the end of it, okay, let's say append 5 here. Also, I can use a function called insert. Insert is outside of our scope actually, but list1.insert. Here I can set the index, and the index starts from 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3. So I can say insert. I will put in the beginning. So I can say 0, and here the number, let's say 10. So 10 will be added here. How to print the list? I'll just print the list first and print the length of list. So print the length of the list means how many values or the number of values inside the list. Currently we have 4 and I have appended 1. So we have 5. Okay, so if I print the length of list, I can write here, for example, the list contains, I can see here, say here, sorry, length of list 1. Okay, just make it a statement. Okay, elements. So it will write the list contains 5 elements here. Okay, and if I want to print the list itself, here, print, just write the name of the list, list 1. Okay, now if I run the program, as you see, it contains 6 elements. Yes, it contains 6 elements because I have added 10 and 5. 5, if you see here, when we printed it, 10 because I have added it on the index 0, so it became the first element here, and 5 appended to the end, so it will be here. Okay, now let's talk about for loop. If I want to deal with it using for loop, I can just say for I in the list 1, okay, and so colon, and I can just print I. Okay, so if I run it now, it will print the elements one by one. If I want to manipulate them actually inside the list, I can do that using the index of each element. So I can say for here, if I want to multiply each element by 2 here, I cannot use this way. If I want to manipulate the values, I can say for I in range len of list 1. Okay, now inside len of list 1, I can use the index of each list element. I can say list 1 of I, so I will I will be how to say resemble the list index. So len list 1, that means the len is 6, so it will be from range to 6 means 0 to 5. So the list of I, list of 0, it will be the first one, which is 10. I can say list of I, okay, times 2. Okay, so this will multiply each element by 2. So if I print the list now, just I will copy this and print the list here. Okay, it will print it. It will print 20, 12, 14, 6, 8, and 10. Let's see. Okay, so we have manipulated the elements in the list. Okay, the last thing I'm gonna talk about, I'm not gonna give any further examples on for loop. We have a lot of them. I will talk about the while loop. While loop is a conditional loop. What do we mean with that? It depends on the condition, on a condition. We cannot determine. As we can use it for counter-based loop actually, but usually we use it with a condition. We cannot determine how many times will it iterate. It depends on a certain condition. Just I will give a very famous example on it. if we enter a negative value, I'll keep just printing numbers until the user will keep entering numbers, and these numbers will be added to a total, and when the user enters a negative value, it will stop adding and will print the results. Okay, so how to write while loop in the beginning? Here I have the keyword while, then we have a condition. Okay, we have a condition. Let's say, for example, I want to enter a number. Let's say number and int input, and I will give enter number. Okay, and here I will say while number is greater than or equal to 0. Let's say, what should we do? I will add the number to a total. I will define a total here. I will say total equals to 0. It should be declared in the beginning. Okay, then and while this number is greater than or equal to 0, okay, add it to the total. I can say total plus equals to number. Okay, and we need to re-enter the value again, so it will be checked against the condition again, because the while loop will remain working. Okay, it will keep comparing, so I need to enter the number again to compare it again with the condition. Okay, when will it stop? When the condition becomes false. That's why I must put something to make the condition to be false at some point. Okay, so we need to repeat input every time. Now if when the condition becomes false, it will print the result. Just I will print total. Okay, so now I want to run the program again. Here it will ask me to enter a number. I will enter number 3, enter another number 4, 5. Let's say I want to enter -1. Now it will stop and it will print the total, which is 12 here in this case. Okay, so the loop here repeated 3 times. If I run it again, it might not repeat any time, 0. Okay, 0 times. It might run 100 times. It will remain iterating until it meets the condition. I give negative number. Okay, so it will stop. Okay, this is just a very quick recap. I didn't give much examples on that. I hope it is clear. If you have any question, just post it on the in the comments. Okay, and I hope my explanation to these ideas is clear. Thank you very much. Wa assalamu alaikum.